Let's start like this. Why did you develop it? What was the idea? Why did you do that?
Well, first of all, it was not for sale or to make any money from it. It was like a side project. I stumbled upon an AI cheat, another one that people developed some time ago, and I got curious, like what kind of technology they use, why they use it, is it even working? And I was quite surprised because it worked just fine. So I like reversed engineered some part of their cheat. It means like you take a certain application and break it down to see how it works, if simply put.
Yeah.
And I found the AI model they use. AI models, it's like the base of any kind of AI cheat that actually scans your screen and finds objects. So I used some of their technologies to understand how it works, and then I decided, just to try it out, to try and see if it even something I can achieve without even knowing how cheats work. In like technical terms. So it was just for fun.
You probably started first without protection going to like official WoW servers.
It's actually funny because Valve can't detect anything related to AI
Wait,
because
they can.
no, they cannot
They
because
cannot. Okay.
in terms of technical detection, I mean. So if you launch and software that contains technology to, let's say, capture screen, for example, OBS, you know OBS, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you launch OBS in your application, and then you can use that screen capture method to make your AI work. Basically, your AI sees your screen via OBS technology, and then it scans it. While it scans it, it gives you information about detected objects. So that whole process is not a cheat itself, because there are a lot of legit things that might scan your screen or capture your screen, because it doesn't inject in the game. It doesn't change anything related to CS itself.
It just sees what you see,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. It just sees what I see.
But how it will give you advantage?
Yeah, that's the interesting part. Once it sees an object, it captures certain type of data about it, like its placement on the screen. Then we can use that data to use like auto aiming to create an aimbot like
So
this.
it's actually helping you to fast react and aim on the object on the screen. So you look like someone with a crazy good reflex.
First of all, you can set it up in a different way. It can look like someone who just aims like dunk or Monesi, and sometimes it can be used to, aim like a robot, like in regular aimbot, because it just receives coordinates from the AI model and then simply puts your mouse on those coordinates.
Yeah, but it doesn't like you don't have additional information where the enemy is, radar.
Oh no.
So you are just looking like someone with a good reaction time,
Yes,
right?
let's say so,
And that
because
you are precise with your mouse with that help.
yep, you're really precise. But at the same time, it can't find an object that's not on the screen. But it has a reaction time way above a human being. I'm sorry, way below. Because average human reaction time is like, I don't know, let's say you're a pro gamer, it will be in the best case scenario like 150 ms. For an AI model, it can be as fast as like 5 ms or 10 ms. No
Yes,
human can have that reaction.
exactly. When the first pixel of the enemy is on the screen, it can react already.
Yep.
So it because it's not injected in the game, it's just working in the back of your PC somewhere, and it's totally safe. I mean, FACEIT anti-cheat cannot know if that is malicious, that is affecting your if that is affecting like your gameplay. I mean, anti-cheat cannot know that because you're doing the via OBS. You're capturing via OBS.
Well, first of all, we need to understand a little bit how FACEIT anti-cheat works. Can we dive into it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
So FACEIT is a kernel level anti-cheat, which means it has full access to your system. It sees and captures everything you run as a user. Sometimes it even have even more control than you do over your operating system. And the kernel level software, it's like a super admin for your PC. It's any kind of program that you run, let's say Discord, right?
Yeah.
It can seize it. It can seize when it launches, when it closes, when it interacts with anything. And they operate, kernel level applications operate on the lowest possible level of your system, like your keyboard or mouse driver. So that's how FACEIT works. It basically sees everything you run on your system, and it's almost impossible to inject in some game, let's say CS, yeah. It's almost impossible to inject into it. It's almost impossible to just launch some cheat and then like interact with Counter-Strike in any way. And since it's always scanning your PC, it can catch literally anything. So the only way to not make it ban you is to run something that FACEIT thinks is legal. And using OBS is legal. Scanning your own screen is also legal. You're not affecting the game itself. You're not affecting anything related to it. That's how and why FACEIT is not reacting on the, let's say, AI cheats as good as it reacts on regular cheats. But at the same time, it can see them. They just don't do anything about banning those cheats.
But do you know anything about DMA cheats? You are like, do you know how it works? Like, it's in your motherboard, right? And why doesn't it scan something on your motherboard? It can recognize your CPU, your GPU, right?
Right, let me explain. DMA is a direct memory access card. It's a device that can exist in your computer's memory and peripherals. It can read anything without involving your CPU. Like
Okay.
basically when your PC moves some kind of data, CPU has to handle the process, which takes some resources and such. But with DMA card, you can have the access to that data directly, which makes things faster and more efficient and secure. But hackers use DMA cards for other reasons. They create cheats, and since that card reads memory directly without any application or something, anti-cheats are not triggered. You hide the DMA card. You don't just use it like I don't know.
Plug and play.
Yeah. You have to hide it. You have to spoof it. They actually work with firmware. Have you heard?
Yeah, I know you pay extra for the firmware. It needs to be coded like
What is firmware? It's basically like a software for the DMA card. It controls how the device works. Without
basically driver for DMA card.
yeah, you can say so. You can say.
I mean, like simply for someone watching out there, it's simple like a driver that helps it work on your PC, right?
Yep. And the biggest problem with firmware is that it can hide your DMA card like something legit, like a capture card, like a network card. And if it hides it pretty good, there is no application in the world that can detect it. However, luckily, cheat developers are scammy people, most of them, and they just copy firmwares they develop. They, for example, give someone one firmware, say it's a custom-made firmware, while it's not. That's why there are cases where a lot of people using the same firmware, and anti-cheats can battle some of it. They can send certain commands that, for example, they send a certain command to a network card, which is not actually a network card, which is a DMA. When DMA receives that command, it sends command back. And anti-cheat knows what kind of commands, let's say, network cards should be answering. If it receives something else, if it receives something that doesn't look legit, doesn't look like a network card, it can flag that device and detect it at some point. So there is let's say, some chance to detect DMA cards. However, if the firmware is built properly, if it's built by a professional coder, it's almost impossible to detect it.
Like there is a theory I want to ask you about one theory. Like everyone thinks Valorant anti-cheat is crazy good because
Mhm.
it's kernel driver. Like it's same as FACEIT anti-cheat, right?
Not really. It
So
works even deeper. It works even deeper.
so it goes deeper.
Yeah, it works on hyper
Because I found a video. I literally cannot find it now, but I found a video where it was like a compilation of DMA cheaters just getting banned in middle of their streams, and they were laughing like, "Yo, we got caught, we got caught." They were DMA cheating on Valorant for a long time, even streaming, because that was on their stream clips from the streams, and like it was called Valorant anti-cheat finally caught DMA cheaters. Like,
Yes,
so
in
that,
some sense you can say so, yeah.
but what I also heard is a theory that the Valorant anti-cheat, of course, cannot detect everything because it's just a software on your PC scanning, as you already said, scanning and trying to find something suspicious, something not legit. But they said, like, if you report someone in the game who are cheating, they are not catching him automatically, but manually via some admin team that gets in the game and watch the suspect and ban them.
Yeah, it's also possible. However, I think it's done differently because it takes a lot of time to watch like a demo or try to capture someone using cheats in regular sense, like, aiming through walls or something. It takes a lot of time. There is no need to do so. Vanguard has basically every kind of access to your PC. It can see literally everything. There is nothing you can hide from it. And that's why they can use manual methods like commands I told you about previously. It can send certain commands to your devices inside your PC. And if your devices act weirdly, if they send some weird commands back, it can flag it and it can detect it. But it's not optimal to put the Vanguard or any anti-cheat in that automatic detection mode. It can't just spam commands continuously to your other devices. That's why they use some manual methods. I don't know I don't know all the methods they use because obviously it's a secret.
Yeah.
But a lot of them includes pinging your devices in your PC and checking what kind of answers they give. As I've said, FACEIT anti-cheat scans everything you run on your system. And even if you run an application that allows injections, it will ban it. It doesn't care if you're trying to inject into CS or Call of Duty or fucking Minecraft. It doesn't matter. It will capture anything that allows injection, most likely.
So, but in reality, what's your take on FACEIT anti-cheat, as how strong it is and how well protected we are if the people are not using DMA cheats, because DMA cheats are not cheap, we know that. So that's like one part why it's like, how to say, we are more protected because you need to pay for it, and firmware needs to be updated from time to time, right?
Yeah, in terms of general protection, FACEIT is probably the second best anti-cheat on the market that exists. In terms of detecting cheats that use injections or just, old kind of cheats, it detects almost everything. And I personally don't know any kind of products currently that exists that are being sold publicly that you can use without DMA while playing on FACEIT.
But
So
sorry to interrupt you, but there is a story going around that you can buy a radar hack that works. It's totally external. So external means you need to have something else. You need to have different PC, second PC, something like that, right? And it works without DMA. Is that possible? Do you know anything about that?
yeah, there is possible because DMA is not the only method you can use to scan memory or find data about the game. There are other devices, but most of them are hardware. So you need to buy, if it's not some plate like DMA, it might be a flash drive with certain access to hardware or memory inside your PC. It can work just like DMA, but I don't know any software that you can run on your PC and then send some data to, let's say, second PC to create a radar.
Yeah, to see it on the second PC screen. Well, I did heard story. It's like very it's cheap. It's not expensive to have that radar. That's my like fear that people are actually using. So there is a method besides DMA cheats that we can use to like inject cheats or show like external information.
In
in our
terms of
games?
injection, no. In terms of
Okay,
injection,
no
it's not
injection,
like that.
but like external things, external devices.
Yeah, there are some boot up devices that interact also directly with the memory of your PC. It almost everything boils down to reading or writing the memory of your PC. You need some type of device that has to get access to the memory. So it might not be the DMA card, it might be something else. But in terms of just, launching some application,
Can you just tell us like something that you know beside DMA cards?
yeah, in terms of those devices, it's basically like a flash drive. I saw it like a regular flash drive that
It
you
goes your regular USB port, nothing special.
goes into, yeah, it goes in your USB port and stays there. I don't know exactly how it works because I did not interact with it, and I saw some products that sell those flash drive, and those products were clearly a scam. So most of the people use DMAs because DMAs are actually undetectable if done right. But
But firmware update is like mandatory. You need to have it because they also update anti-cheat, right?
you mean update in terms of what?
Like if I am like a anti-cheat developer and
Yeah.
I found new ways, like I can send this new code and I update my anti-cheat to talk to your PC with different way. You must have a new firmware update, no,
Yeah.
to stay protected.
Yes.
Okay,
And
and
you get that firmware from the people you bought your DMA card from or the software.
sorry, I need to pay another, let's say, €100 because I saw that's not cheap, like for someone.
Well, it depends on the developer because some people write firmware for $500. I saw people sell firmware for $1,000, and there is no guarantee that they are not selling you a cheap copy from GitHub. You can download the firmware from GitHub for free. It's not a problem, but you never know what people are selling. So if you want to cheat without detection, if you want to cheat on a pro level, there are coders who sell proper firmware, but you will never find them publicly because they only work with, big teams or maybe some professional players who are ready to pay big money.
So I want to ask you, did you maybe sometimes look into those anti-cheats, the way they work? Did you like analyze them?
Only on very basic technical level, anti-cheats are protected in a good way, so you can't really just open them up and then look how they work.
Because
They spend a lot of money to protect their software.
because yeah, if they can open anti-cheat, they can access some your kernel drivers, right? If they can crack the code.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay, understandable. So, like in reality, you want to tell me that these guys I catch in my videos that I make and then face it ban them and all that after I do some kind of Overwatch, let's call it like that.
Mhm.
You tell me those guys are paying big money to cheat.
Of course, if they cheat with the DMA and such, they pay like around $500 to just get the setup, get the software, get the Cambox and Arduino stuff. I will talk about those later. To just use Wallhack or Radar on FACEIT. However, if you want to use aimbot only, you have to pay like $30. It's very cheap.
So did you maybe saw my last video about that guy aim locking?
Yeah, the last one where he had trigger bot, right? You mean?
Yeah, that was like 100% trigger bot. Plus, I think there is like aimbot because his aim is weird, shaky, you know.
So about that guy, do you remember at some point he started shooting some ankle, like a leg of a dead terrorist?
Yes, he was on the box.
Yeah. I can tell you 100% it's an AI. It's an
Oh, so AI saw the dead body and shot it.
Yep, it's some shitty AI model he somewhere got, and that AI works on dead bodies or like blood splatters on walls. Sometimes the AI, yeah, if it's not trained properly, it will detect some weird stuff like bushes or some boxes. There is a lot of things, and the worst thing that can make some guy detected by like Overwatch, yeah, is when the guy shoots a dead body or a blood on the wall or some, you know, AI anti-cheats loves on Mirage. If you remember, there are lamps on certain
Yes, yes.
parts. Yeah, a lot of AI cheats shoot at those lamps. So
I
if you
guess,
see someone,
but because it's not on the floor, it's in some height of the like head or something like that,
it
right?
doesn't matter. They shoot it because the lamp looks like a head of a city.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why they
yeah.
think it's a head.
Because it's not trained really good. So that part when he's on the box and he shoot the leg because it's in the height. Like he's never shooting the bodies on the floor, but that leg was in the height of a person, of a head, right?
Height doesn't matter. The only what matters is the context. AI, I'll say a few words. There is a screen, let's say, okay? AI captures like some part of that screens. It breaks down the screen into small boxes, squares. It scans each square while evaluating the background. When it sees, for example, like fat black dot at some rectangle, yeah,
Yeah.
it will think or evaluate it as, for example, a head of a someone. Sometimes some objects, like it happens with humans too. Sometimes you just walk out and see terrorist lying dead, and you think, "Oh wait, he's alive," and you shoot at it, but he's not.
Yeah.
So AI works basically like the human eye. It sometimes thinks something is an enemy or enemy's head, while basically it's not. So it all depends on the training of an AI. If it's trained properly, it will have less false detections.
Got it, got it, got it. So we now need to be worried about AI selling for $30, and that's why people can have like easier access and have aim lock,
Yeah.
aka amazing reaction time.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Those $30, you can even run it on a single PC. You don't even need the second PC. All you need is a cam box. I can say a few words about cam box and those devices if you want.
Yeah, of course, of course. The more
Yeah.
info, like I am totally like a noob about the cheats and all how they work. I just saw them working. Like all I know that FACEIT anti-cheat can block different cheats.
Yeah, so let's, I guess, talk about what do you need for the cheat to work, right? For AI-based cheat, all you need is first of all, custom built software that accepts the AI model. Because all AIs, when you train them, you have a model. Those models are files that you can put in some software, and that software will use some screen capture method and then scan your screen for objects that it wants to detect. So obviously you need a strong GPU, the graphics card. Those graphics card are basically your main processor for the imaging, and so it depends. The quality of your aim, your trigger bot directly depends on strength of your GPU. If your GPU is strong, your AI model will work much faster, and you will have lower latency when working with the game, let's say. So yeah, you need a GPU. And then you would need various hardware to actually make the cheat work. For example, to send inputs to the game, you need Cambox or Arduino devices. Those are like programmable mouses. They can receive commands like, once you give to your mouse with your hand, you click on your mouse delivers that command to your PC. But instead of a hand, all commands are delivered from a cheat. However, all these things that I've said are mostly for aimbot. If we're talking about wall hack, radar, you need DMA and also a thing called fuser. Have you heard about the fuser?
No, no, I'm telling you, I'm total noob about how the
Yes.
it works.
So fuser is a device that allows you to translate the data that DMA gives you to your screen on your first PC. Hackers use it to enable wall hack, for example. I mean, not make actual walls transparent, but to ESP, if you know.
Yeah, yeah, to see like rectangle, yeah, shape.
Ricks also shapes, yeah.
Yeah, is where the guy is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the fuser sends that data to your PC so you can use wall hack. It basically fuses the data you get on your second PC with your first PC. It's like giving a signal directly to your monitor. So back to Cambox and Arduino devices. Those devices are the main way to make your mouse aim into some objects. And those devices cost like $30, $50, and you also need a firmware for those devices. I actually bought a Cambox device to see how it even works, and it's really simple. And you receive the firmware actually from the developer of the Cambox. It's totally free, and it's undetectable for like 4 years or some crazy number, because no, not FACEIT, not the Vanguard, no anti-cheats detected it for whatever reason. And there is a funny story. I actually sit like for an evening to look it up, how the whole thing works. In order to use it, you need to spoof it. Spoofing is when you're hiding some device and trying to show it like something it's not. For example, that cam box, it's spoofed to look like a regular mouse. So when, let's say, FACEIT anti-cheat scans your system, it only sees a mouse. And that mouse sends movement, click commands, which is totally fine. It won't try to ban you for it.
Well, Valorant actually has some little protection for that mouse when you change inputs, you know? If you have, like, let's say I connect my wireless mouse, I connect it right now and play on Valorant. If I plug in the cable to charge it while I play, it will not work because it then like a different mouse.
Yeah, it will happen if because you're changing the USB port, or maybe it starts receiving a different signal. But
Yeah, it's different signal, 100% different signal.
yeah, but in reality, it doesn't work like that in Cambox, because Cambox is always connected, so you don't need to switch anything. Yeah, so when the program, let's say your cheat, finds an object, it sends like coordinates, actual coordinates to the Cambox, and it makes your mouse move. However, I've noticed a few things that Cambox sometimes, I'm trying to put it simply, but there are a lot of technical terms. Like your mouse have some number. Every mouse we use have some number. It's called PID and VID. When you try to hide Cambox as a mouse, you assign those PIDs and VIDs to the Cambox. So if you open like FACEIT anti-cheat and it scans your system, it will see that there is a device called, for example, Logitech G305 with certain PID and VID that matches the actual mouse device. However, the inputs that it sends, they are slightly different from a regular mouse, and I've detected it using some debugging software. It's stuff that developers use to, let's say, understand how certain device works. And I've even reported it to FACEIT anti-cheat team. I even described how to detect it, how to automate detection on it, because I've asked a lot of people around that use Cambox how they connected and spoofed their mouses, and I saw that the same problem that can detect Cambox exists on every Cambox user. So it can be detected, and I don't know why they're still not detecting it.
You actually investigate whole thing about the cam boxes. You found a solution how to protect. You will actually, if they implement that, they can detect AI moving your mouse.
Of course, they can detect Camboxes, and Cambox works not only in AI, it works in regular DMA cheats because they use it to move the mouse. It doesn't matter where the data about enemies come from.
Can I get just something clear? Sorry. Every aim lock that we see on in Counter Strike, it's Cambox moving your mouse.
It might not be Cambox, it might be Arduino too. It's similar stuff. Well,
Okay.
they do the same thing.
But the detection will work for both.
For Arduino, no.
Okay.
Because
It's complicated, right?
yeah, it uses USB shielding, and USB shielding makes it impossible to any kind of anti-cheat to detect a programmable device, because it hides itself on the level of connecting to your USB port. There is no way to detect that there is something wrong. The only way to detect that something is off with the movement is by polling rate. Polling rate is the amount of requests your mouse do to your system. So basically, Arduino and Cambox do it a little bit differently than regular mouse, and you can detect it by, like, when aim lock happens, your mouse starts moving with some, let's say, static speed. Like, let's say you move your mouse with speed from 1 to 10, aim lock will move it on like 5, 6, 7, 8, like a robot. So you can detect those patterns, but realistically, you can't automatically detect like someone connecting Kbox or Arduino.
So Arduino are like higher technology than Campbell's, right?
Yeah. Kbox is, I mean, at some point they might do it differently and make it impossible programmatically to detect it. But right now, the most popular versions are Net and B Pro. And both of those can be detected via that method that I've sent to FACEIT anti-cheat team, and that method, they ignored it.
But can they like the guys that make Cambox, can they implement USB shielding?
Yes, of course they can. I hope they won't, but
So we are now helping everyone. We are helping even anti-cheat makers and
I
cheat.
mean, if cheat makers, if they ignore it, of course, cheat makers will catch up and create something that they can detect. At least they can detect it now, ban hundreds, if not thousands of people, and do something about it. Yet
Yeah,
they don't.
look, it doesn't work like that for FACEIT. It's money because if they ban so many people, that's money, that's subscriptions, bro. So that's why they don't do it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sad part of my, let's call it job, because I love doing this because community is so amazing. When you see so many people are like, yes, bro, thank you for helping us fighting these cheaters. I'm also helping myself because I like the game. And when they say that, there is a sad part where you know that platform is not effectively fighting cheaters because they're making money from cheaters. Like there is a theory, they also sell cheats, and it's not crazy for me. That theory is not crazy for me that they are selling cheats and protecting cheaters. There is one more thing I want to tell you. Do you know about a cross anti-cheat?
Yeah, I've heard about it, and I've heard about a lot of false bans that they've done.
Yeah,
So,
that was in the beginning. Like it was like some probably they didn't configure it really good. No, they were new on the market. At least for me, I first time heard about a cross anti cheat when I was playing on challenger mode. But they actually catch a lot of, I mean a lot. They catch some serious pro players. I mean tier two pro players, you know?
they catched one guy today, actually, Sangal team. Do you know it?
No.
Sangal team is a tier 2 team. They caught a guy, Samei, is his nickname, Polish player, and he got banned on ESC Gaming. And as far as I know, they already unbanned him and told everyone that it was false. So yeah, anti-cheats can work effectively. They can ban everything, like if they even spot some minor thing. But if you have a lot of false bans, it creates a lot of problem for your product. It makes it less trustworthy. It makes it so people stop using it or use different platforms with different anti-cheats.
But they didn't unban that guy Joel.
Yeah.
They were 100% sure that he was cheating.
Yep. Is he banned on FACEIT too, or he can play on
I don't
FACEIT?
think so. I don't think so. Joel's 100% playing right now.
Is he Swedish or?
Yeah, he's really
I think
young.
I found his account 3000 elo. Yeah.
Yep,
Plays just fine.
2013.
Yeah, he plays just fine.
Can the game developers do something more to protect this?
Of course, if we're talking about Wolf, they can do a lot of things better, but realistically, I see that they are trying to implement AI anti-cheats. And it's somewhat a good decision because if you can't capture DMA cheaters and like AI cheaters in traditional way, like catching them by hand by using some card that's incredibly hard to detect and such, you can detect weird movements inside the game and maybe lower their trust factor. So I think they should keep developing their AI anti-cheat, and at some point, maybe I hope it will become much better and will be effective actually. From what I know, a lot of people who play CS matchmaking for like a long time, they have good Steam accounts. They face way less cheaters than people who just bought an account, just bought Prime status and started playing. So yeah, maybe trust factor and AI anti-cheat is like the answer to this whole cheaters battle, but cheaters will always exist. About verification on FACEIT, you can buy a verification for $10.
Crazy. $10. So they buying verification for $10.
You actually buy like actual documents of some guy. They go through verification, like crypto exchanges, right?
Yep.
A lot of people just buy verifications on those exchanges, and you can buy it the same way for FACEIT. There are a lot of scammers that sell verification for like $100, 20, $200, but the real price for FACEIT verification is like $10. Random guy from Bangladesh can do it for you, and you'll go and play. That's it.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. Brother, what can I say? Thank you very much. Thank you for spending this more than hour with me here talking and teaching me and everyone who wants to listen about cheats and anti-cheats. If you continue developing something crazy, I mean, it's pretty much it's crazy when you have aimbot that cannot be detected. Let's be serious. If you have something new or new protection, I'm glad to hear about it. And yeah, wish you all the best and God bless you, my friend.
Yeah, God bless you too. Thank you, man.